What's going on, guys? Welcome to our review of Old Forester 100. If you watched the last episode, we did Old Forester 86. I think our plan is to kind of just go through all the Old Forester stuff and get those reviews out of the way because we've had those bottles the longest. But yeah, so these are just supposed to be quick, so
yeah,
let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
So we will be referencing a lot from last video because Old Forester 86 and 100 are like very similar. And we also did that last video where we took Old Forester 100 into consideration when scoring 86 quite a bit.
Yep. Spoiler alert. This is better.
Yeah. All right, so first category out of 25 is the nose. It does keep getting better over time. Like the longer it sits in the glass, it seems to get better.
Oh, without a doubt.
But I'm still leaving room for a lot of stuff that I know that I like more.
Yep.
So I ended up giving it a 17.
Right. Yeah, I'm not much farther behind you. I gave it a 16. It's because I gave the 86 a 14. I thought this was a little better on the nose. And you're right, it does keep developing.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, for us, it's those, all the classic notes are there, right? You're getting like the caramel, toffee, like butterscotch, but it's just kind of dialed down a little bit.
Right.
It's all there, but it's not very pronounced. And there's also this, I've been calling it a red fruit because I can't tell you exactly what it is.
I call it Twizzlers.
He calls it Twizzlers.
That is a freshly opened package of Twizzlers.
Which I think Twizzlers are supposed to be like strawberry, but like they taste nothing like strawberries.
No. They taste like Twizzlers.
They taste like red fruit.
Sure.
Which is why I call it kind of just general red candy. Like red candy.
Right. Yeah, the nose is interesting and it does keep developing in the glass, but there's definitely much better out there.
So we give it a little bit of above average.
Yeah.
All right, so palate, same thing. I have 25. It's not very complex, really at all, but there is a little bit more there than 86. So I gave this a 17 as well on the palate.
Yep, I copied you there. I also gave it a 17. You'll notice a lot of these scores are going to be really similar between us. The palate's pretty good. It's it's really classic. Not a whole lot to explore. Again, it is better than the 86, of course.
I think it's just because it's just proofed up.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's just less watered down.
Yep. So it's a lot more pronounced.
But it's still
quite nice.
It's still what is there is still very simple.
Yep.
There's not, whereas like the nose kind of had stuff to dig out. The palate really is
pretty plain.
It does what it does, and it does it okay, which is why we gave it a little bit above average. Now the finish, also out of 25. For this one, we kind of last video on the 86. We gave it a pretty low score because it is below average. It was
not great.
It was pretty good. But this is a big step up. I actually quite like the finish, but I've had a lot better. So I gave it a 16, which is a big step up from what I gave 86.
Right. Yeah, I gave the 86 a 10.
Same.
So, and this one I gave a 14. Yeah, you're right. The finish is a lot better. It lasts longer. It's actually there, but there is still better.
Yeah.
So
kind of, again, it's been the theme. There's a little bit above average.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much this bottle so far. I think where it really shines is actually this next category, the value.
Yeah, value out of 15. So I would have given the 86 a higher score, but then we got to thinking, this exists. So the value of 86 just basically gets wiped out because this is like $4 more.
Yep.
So this is $26.99, and I gave it an 11 because I think it is one of my favorite bottles in this general, like, under 30. Like, I'll probably always have a bottle of this because it's just
cheap.
It's just cheap and it's always around and it's good.
Yep.
So it has good value. There is like a few bottles that are at the price point that I think are maybe a little better. there's not a lot of bottles that are more expensive than it that it competes with, but it's still really good at its price point, so I gave it an 11.
Right, and I gave it a 12 for pretty much all the same reasons.
Yeah. And then, so bottle / intangibles. So this is kind of just like story or the bottle. I gave Old Forester 86 a 3, so I also gave this a 3 because it's the same bottle except for everything that's orange is blue on the 86.
Yep.
So
I also gave it a 3. Pretty boring.
Yeah.
It's Old Forester. It's fine.
It's a good bottle.
Yeah, it's a good bottle. But it's
fine.
Yeah. But it's pretty boring.
But there's nothing cool about it.
No, it's
lacking,
generic. It's a generic bottle of bourbon, you know?
Yeah.
What else do you want?
And so like I said, that one's only got 10 points, so it's not taking a big hit. So that gave me a total of 64, 11 points more than what I gave the 86.
Yep, I got 62, which is also 11 points more than I gave the 86. That's interesting.
Which I think makes sense.
That before.
I think it's about, which before we sat down, I said, I'm probably going to give this about a 65, and I gave it a 64. So I think it's about that much better than 86.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, if you're thinking about getting a bottle of Old Forester like this, I'd definitely get the 100 instead of the 86.
If you can,
without a doubt.
Unless you're new and you want the lower proof.
Right.
Because there is a 14 proof difference. So.
Yeah. This one will sting you a little bit more, but it has a lot more flavor, depth, all the good things.
Yeah.
That you can think of. This has more of than
pretty much
86.
Now, where I think Old Forester kind of, they have a big gap going on, right? Because the next bottle in this line, they have their rye, which is around the same price, but I'm talking just their bourbon, is like twice the price. They have nothing in like the 30 to 40 mark.
Right.
And then they have their like store picks that are like the single barrels are like $45. So like their next cheapest bourbon is $20 more than this. I think they need to get something readily available in like that 30 to 40-ish mark. Cause
right.
Some of my favorite bourbons right now are literally like $35. They're right in that price point. And I think, because like I said, we're going to do all the Old Forester reviews. And our next one is like twice as much. And that's the next cheapest one.
Yep. Yeah, they have a bit of a gap to fill.
Anything that they release, I'm going to be happy for. So
get in line.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. If you want to see more reviews or anything like that, links will be in the description along with our socials. If you like the video, make sure to drop a like. And we'll see you next time.
See you later.